there's something I need to say out loud, because if I don't, I already know what will happen. I'll stay. I'll stay where I am, doing what I've been doing, telling myself the same story I've been telling myself for years. Just a little longer, just be patient. It will get better. But deep down, I know it won't. And that's why I'm here. Because I'm about to change my life. And I'm terrified. Not the kind of fear that's light or exciting. Not the kind of fear people romanticize. I mean the kind of fear that sits in your chest. The kind that makes you question everything. The kind that whispers, what if you're making a mistake? For the past 5 years, I've been working nonstop in a law firm. No real breaks, no real pause. Just constant work, responsibility, routine. I became that person who is always there. Always reliable. Always solving problems. Always doing what needs to be done. And at some point, that became my identity. Not just something I did, but something I was. Because when you spend years like that, you don't just build a career. You build a version of yourself. The one who doesn't stop. The one who doesn't complain. The one who doesn't need anyone. And for a long time, I believed that was strength. Maybe it still is. But recently, something happened that forced me to look at everything differently. I found out what my colleagues are earning. And suddenly, everything shifted. Because it wasn't a feeling anymore. It wasn't intuition. It wasn't maybe I'm overthinking. It was fact. And the truth is, I've been undervalued. And that realization didn't explode. It didn't come with anger or drama. It came quietly. But once it arrived, it stayed. And it changed the way I see everything. Because when you realize that what you give and what you receive are not aligned, you can't go back to pretending. So I made a decision. A decision that sounds simple when you say it out loud. I'm going to leave my job. I'm going to go on unemployment. I'm going to rest. I'm going to finish becoming a lawyer. And then, I'm going to build something different. But the truth is, this decision is not simple at all. Because it's not just about changing jobs. But the truth is, this decision is not simple at all. Because it's not just about changing jobs. It's about changing identity. For 5 years, I've been the person who is always producing. There's something I need to say out loud. Because if I don't, I already know what will happen. Always doing. And now I'm choosing to stop. To slow down. To step away from that version of myself. And that scares me more than I expected. Because if I'm not constantly working, if I'm not constantly proving myself, and this is where things get deeper. Because my fear is not just about change. And this is where things get deeper. Because my fear is not just about change, it's about dependence. I'm afraid of depending on something, or someone, other than myself. I'm afraid of losing control. I'm afraid of losing my power. And most of all, I'm afraid of losing myself. And I know exactly where that comes from. It comes from my childhood. From watching my parents. From seeing what happens when one person depends on the other financially. From seeing what it does to your voice, to your choices, to your freedom. I saw what it looks like when someone feels like they can't leave. And that leaves a mark. So I made a promise to myself. A very strong one. I will never depend on anyone. Not financially, not emotionally in that way. Not in a way that takes away my ability to choose. And I've lived by that promise. Everything I've done has been shaped by it. The way I work. The way I push myself. The way I don't allow myself to stop. Because stopping feels dangerous. Slowing down feels like losing ground. And now, I'm choosing to do exactly that. I'm choosing to leave a stable job. I'm choosing to go on unemployment. I'm choosing to rest. And eventually, I'm choosing to start working with my partner. And this is where the fear becomes even more complex. Because it's not just professional anymore. It's personal. Working with someone you love sounds beautiful. And it can be. But it also brings questions that are not easy to answer. What happens to your independence? What happens to your identity? What happens if things don't work out? Because I don't want to become someone who disappears into someone else's life. I don't want to become the partner who helps. I don't want my professional identity to blur into my personal one. I don't want to lose that sense of I can stand on my own. Because that sense is everything to me. It's not just about money. It's about power. It's about knowing that no matter what happens, I can make decisions for myself. I can leave, I can rebuild, I can choose. And when you've seen what happens when someone doesn't have that, you don't take it lightly. So yes, I'm scared. I'm scared that by stepping away, I might lose momentum. I'm scared that by resting, I might lose discipline. I'm scared that by entering a shared professional space, I might lose clarity about who I am. And there's another fear that I don't talk about often. But it's there. What if I relax too much? What if I let go? And I don't come back the same? What if I stop being that driven, capable version of myself? What if I become comfortable? And that comfort slowly turns into dependence. Because for me, independence has never been optional. It has been survival. But lately I've been questioning something. What if independence doesn't mean what I thought it meant? What if independence is not about never stopping, never resting, never leaning on anyone? What if that version of independence is actually just fear in disguise? Because real independence might not be, I don't need anyone. Maybe real independence is, I know I can stand on my own, even if I choose not to all the time. And that's a completely different thing. Because the truth is, I am not starting from zero. I have experience. I have skills. I speak multiple languages. I'm about to become a lawyer. I have options. I have a voice. I have the ability to rebuild if I need to. So maybe the fear is not telling me to stop. Maybe it's asking me to be intentional, to rest but not disappear, to build but not lose myself, to collaborate but not dissolve my identity, to create something where I am still me. And maybe that's the real challenge here. Not avoiding dependence at all costs, but learning how to stay myself in any situation. Because losing yourself doesn't come from resting, and it doesn't come from working with someone. It comes from forgetting your own value. It comes from not setting boundaries. It comes from not knowing who you are outside of what you do. And that's something I can control. So yes, I'm scared. I'm scared of change. I'm scared of uncertainty. I'm scared of stepping into something I can't fully predict. But I'm also aware of what I've built, aware of what I'm capable of, aware of what I don't want for my life. And staying where I am is no longer an option. So I'm choosing to move. Not because I'm fearless, but because I understand my fear. And maybe this is what real independence actually looks like. Not control, not constant effort, not proving yourself every day. Not constant effort. Not proving yourself every day, but trusting that wherever you go, you won't lose yourself. And if you're in a moment like this too, where you're standing between what you know and what you feel called to do, and fear is right there with you, just know this. Fear doesn't mean stop. Sometimes it means you're finally being honest with yourself. There's something I need to say out loud, because if I don't, I already know what will happen. I'll stay. That's where everything begins. Have you been through anything similar? If so, please share your experience in the comments sections. Also, a follow and a like would be greatly appreciated.